Welcome to our next series of our podcast with Zareen. And this is about how we make use of ancient yoga practice in modern lifestyle, how to make most use of it. And I am here seated today with Zareen, who wears multiple hats and she has done a lot of things. She is very talented, and I can just do one podcast on what other things she does in her life. But for me, she works in tech, and with me, she hosts our yoga teacher training because she's certified yoga teacher trainer, and she is a certified personal trainer, and she also onboards all the yoga teachers at Yoga 6 Campbell, Cupertino and Saratoga, and she has built pretty much all the culture and things that we do around teaching in this studio, a lot of events. So welcome Zareen to this podcast.
Thank you.
So take it on, like what yoga brings to you. What does it mean outside of the studio?
It means so much. There is so much that yoga has taught me to deal with the rest of my life. It's like I've been living and not really living purposefully without yoga. So when I first discovered, or when I first took it seriously, I was interested in doing the training just because it was just a curiosity thing. And I think that is the flavor of my life, is curious. Some say it's addicted to gossip, which is fine too.
Yes. And we do that.
And we do that a lot. But it's also curiosity. It's helped me with my career, it's helped me with yoga, and it's helped me with everything else. And yoga has given me the tools, the training has given me the tools to stay curious and to be self-aware, communicate non-violently, observe my body, observe my tendencies, observe other people, not react, but observe. So yeah, that's what yoga has given me. It's given me the foundation to live my life to its true purpose. Wow. I think.
So basically, you come. So you did your undergrad, it seems, in maths, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you owned a nail salon,
Mm-hmm.
and then you navigated towards yoga teacher training. You did it for yourself, and then you started teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So what motivates you more? Like, what keeps you interested more? Like hiring teachers, teaching students, or all of them? What does it feel like?
Oh, I don't know. I think the most interesting fulfillment for personal is teaching teachers, I think. Like entering the teacher training is the most fulfilling. If we're talking about ROI,
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah,
because
right.
at Kumar District, we have hosted many yoga teacher training.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since you have onboarded, we have had a lot more success onboarding teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And since you have a leadership background in your tech industry, you probably incorporate yourself in your day job,
Yeah.
and then you incorporate a lot of those things in the training as well. So
Yeah.
it feels like it becomes more like going out and doing way more things than you just do it as a yoga teacher.
Right.
Would you agree?
Exactly. I think that's why I find more fulfillment in doing the teacher training, because it encompasses other things besides just the anatomy and the body, right? Like when you go to a class, you are fully able to be in your body, and it's more of like an exchange of how to move your body in an efficient way to get us to the breath and the relaxation at the end. And that's fulfilling, obviously, and that gets us the most ROI in terms of like continuation of, students coming back and like getting interest. But personal fulfillment is always teacher training, because we get to talk about the communication skills, we get to talk about the methods of stepping back and observing yourself, self-awareness, the ancient traditions of chakras, energy work, yamas, niyamas, and all of those tools that make you just a better person, and it's like lifelong journey.
Tech industry is very fast paced, very stress like, and when and how yoga shows up in your day job?
Yeah, it's like every single day. There is just a lot of moving parts, right? When you are on a bigger team and you have to collaborate with others. The job that I have is more end of development cycle, so I do have to interact with more people than
Some
a
more
typical-
chaos.
Yeah, some more chaos, exactly. So I think it helps you stop and pause, and again, the observation, the methods of like observation versus reacting, that kind of thing. You get the tools to better recognize the triggers in your own self, and then pausing and knowing, am I reacting in a way that has previously showed me this is not going to help us move forward, or can I react in a way that will accommodate others? Sometimes though, it does get very frustrating, because you're like, why am I always the one accommodating everybody else? Because I'm gone through this training and I have the methods, but at the end of the day, yoga just teaches you everything is temporary, and it's a changing cycle constantly, right?
Yeah.
And you have to accept that all of these things at the end don't really matter.
And change is the only constant.
It's the only constant. So you have to be okay with that change.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the benefit
Mhm.
of yoga and what the teachings have taught us. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have been teaching yoga for almost like 10 years now. What do you have to say about people getting injured? Because we know philosophically, while doing yoga, no one should get hurt. Why that happens from a teacher point of view?
I think it's culture of the maybe Bay Area textile, but it's also just culture of independence and like that kind of thing in the US. It's a lot of people are goal oriented, and so everything, because you're spending energy, you're spending time, you're spending money on something, if there's nothing in return, it doesn't feel worth it, right? And so when your goal in yoga is just to reach a posture, reach something hard,
Or performance.
Exactly, then you're always chasing something that is outside of you, it's external, it's never going to be achieved, right?
And yoga is just the opposite.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly. It's
So
all an internal
what we should be
thing.
doing to encourage folks to take advantage, even in the modern life, right? Because I have said that in the many forums, like yoga was for folks who were living in jungles and they had hardships, and they needed a strong body, a strong mental space, is like very emotionally regulated, and they were able to do it. We are not living in jungle, but our struggle is no less, right?
Yeah.
Like we have so many stimulations going on, so much stress, and we are always running externally, but ultimately everybody is looking for happiness or peace, right? And for that they have to go inward. So what did you, I'm sure since you started somewhere here, you might have gone through this and you have overcome that. So would you share?
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was always like, I need to prove myself. I can't be a good teacher if I'm not able to do a handstand, or like there's something wrong with me if I can't do the hardest pose. But we know now our biggest predator is stress and men. But that's another topic. But it is stress, right? And so the hardest pose now is probably sitting still and being
Stillness.
and being aware of your body. And I think it takes a lot if you work out or you do yoga in the morning versus yoga after a really hard day. It takes a very long time at the end of your day to really tap into your body. And that is where the yoga happens, is when you're able to breathe and tap into your body. You're reaching that meditative state where you understand what's going on in your body. And so, when you teach a lot, you can, like, I often joke around, but it is very true. The amount of training anatomically that you get in yoga, or at least our training, is in line with the amount of anatomical training that you get as a doctor. But the training is observation versus comprehension. And doctors get comprehension because they have to do the labs, they have to do the experience, and then they can diagnose you. Whereas like a yoga teacher or a certified personal trainer, they can observe you, right? And so all of these years of experience of observing the body, you can tell how long it takes, the beginning of the day versus the end of the day, calming the body down and really tapping in. And that's our biggest goal for yoga now, I think. And I've seen a lot of change over the years. In the beginning, it was all about, how much can I push myself physically? And I think as a society, after all the traumas that we've been through, as a collective, we're finally realizing there is some benefit to slowing down and really tapping in and knowing myself internally. And that's the work that I really want to bring and hope to bring.
So in your experience, you have been onboarding a lot of teachers. How do you enable a teacher find their own voice rather than trying to copy someone? Because it's very easy to fall into that zone that, oh, my XYZ teacher is this way. So how do you enable teachers to have their own personality?
With new teachers, like the trainees that we've had recently, I definitely encourage them to get the foundational, right? Like the foundational alignment, cue, and encouragement, and really get that set in, and then explore further, right? Like, what more can I do? Can I bring? And I think I try to encourage everyone and tell everyone, you have your own voice, and I want to hear it. You have a perspective, and I want to hear it. With onboarding experienced teachers, I give them the foundation. We have a lot of really good material of how one should teach each format, and I really appreciate that. But I always say in the onboarding email, this is a guide. It's not you must do X, Y, Z. It's a guide. It's a nice foundation, but absolutely you have to bring your own variety. And I hope I'm encouraging enough that I want to see your perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
And so basically, with this, keeping their own voice and personality, how does it help the students?
Oh, they have a lot of variety. They get to choose who they like. Again, not everybody is going to like my class that likes another teacher's class. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You cannot, I think I read something recently about why it's important to not have the skill to do everything. Because you've got to find your voice. And it's important to have that perspective.
The bandwidth, the frequency, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yoga had taught me that it's okay to be not liked.
Yeah.
and be okay with it.
It's an ongoing journey. I think like as women too, we are told you must smile, you must look a certain way, you have to be this, that. You have to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
But that's just impossible. You have to be everything to yourself first. And if you don't even know that voice, then
What makes a great yoga teacher based on your experience onboarding so many teachers and training so many teachers so far?
Being a student first. You are not there for yourself or proving anything about yourself. You are in fact observing others. Again, it's like what I said earlier about the difference, that you get training diagnosing somebody versus observing them. Your job is just to observe
And guide.
Give suggestions, give options, and also understanding not everybody is at the same level level.
Same level, right?
Yeah. So I think that's the main thing is how people are able to learn from their students and then adjust themselves.
Adjust it, yeah. Even in my experience, sometimes I go to a class and a teacher makes it look like very easy, and after like you are able to land into a difficult pose without even realizing. And in some classes you go and you feel intimidated. So definitely, like, understanding a student, not intimidating them, but to enable them is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the one thing that I gained a lot from owning a salon is you are in conflict with how people see themselves, what is good for them, and what is reality.
What is reality? Yeah.
What can actually be achievable for somebody,
yeah.
right? So you're conflicting all of those things, and then just allowing them to get to that reality.
Yeah. Even in my own experience, like I used to push people too hard to do certain things, but now I'm at a point where I understand that they have to either realize themselves or they need more time to land there, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it's not always like, oh, I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes you get really excited.
Yeah.
Right. I know this is the same with both of us. Like we're able to see a lot of potential.
Yes.
And we see a lot of ourselves and others, and I think that's a part of like being observant and self-aware. And you already know how good it can be, but you do have to step back because people have to get there, right? It's intrinsic; it needs to happen on their own.
Yeah, and personally, me and Zareen, because we manage the team, so we always go back and look at it, and we pause and we modify, right? How to incorporate others and learn from every experience that's coming up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So moving forward, what teaching had taught you about leadership? That will help a lot of members, community, everybody who is into a leadership role, right?
Yeah.
And how this teaching has helped you?
It goes back to everything that we've been talking about. Self-awareness, observation, listening. Being a leader is not about your own agenda. It's about the community, the goal. And you have taught me that a lot because you have your, goals and the community that you want to build. I think you feel good to share it with me often and with others as well. So that helps with leading others is listening and observing their strengths and then encouraging that. You never want anyone to do something that they're not good at or comfortable with.
Yes, I learned that in my tech world.
Yeah.
I used to work with a manager, and he would teach me that a good leader, they'll not necessarily do everything, but they find the gap and make best out of it or enable others to achieve that task. And I think I do that in day to day, like as you said, like I always try to gauge which teacher or who is interested in doing what, and I give them a way, and then they are on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the success we as a community see it.
I think so. Yeah. Like you can see that in the workshops that we offer, the events that we offer. You and I often have this conversation. Like I observe something in a teacher, you observe something in a teacher, and we say, how about we get them to do this task, and then we see how it goes. And I think that's.
And just for viewers, me and Zareen always talk about how yoga aligns with what we are doing, and we try to stick to philosophy. We try to send our team members sticking to yoga philosophy, and we are a big cheerleader about yoga, and we believe it, and we incorporate in our own lives too. And that's where this podcast series that we had been talking for a while, and we started so that others can learn too. So Zareen, if somebody has been thinking about yoga and they have been intimidated to try it out, what do you have to say to them?
I get this almost every single time I bring up I teach yoga. Like, oh, I'm not flexible enough, and I can't do this, like I can't touch my toes, and I say that's why you go, so that you can learn. Everybody has to start somewhere, right? And if It's just, if all you did was lay down and breathe and were present in your body for 5 minutes, you did yoga.
Yep.
Right? So that's
So what would you have to say to folks who does a lot of strength training and they have heard about yoga, they want to do yoga, how they fit in and how can they take advantage of yoga?
Yeah, it's a hard one to sell, I think, sometimes, because a lot of people that I've encountered who only do strength training just see yoga as stretching. And my answer is often it's so much more than that. And again, it's just being able to be present in your body and breathe and just understand your body fully.
Fully. And they can do our strength focused classes for a strength too, right?
Yeah.
And I think in power yoga we use our body weights a lot to manage, and I think when you are managing your own body weights, I think based on my experience that you need to be a lot more focused because you can get injured and you won't be able to do effectively, right?
Exactly. I think it's a mix of trying to get people in the door, because in 30 seconds or less, you cannot explain why every energy point is open in your body and then fully awakened and then fully grounded.
Got it.
Right? Because that's what happens when you take a hot class, for example. All of the chakras are basically opened and then grounded.
Right.
It's hard to explain that in 30 seconds or less. So my main thing is being present in your body, being able to learn how to get flexible, learn how to do the poses, and then learn how to be present. And hopefully that's enticing enough that people do it often enough where they start to recognize, I am feeling really good.
Yes.
Why am I feeling so good? And then you can bring up, it's because your chakras are aligned and you're actually grounded in your body and grounded in the earth and then grounded in community. There's so many white papers and scientific research being done with how one can be in a room and breathing at the same pace as another. We eventually sync our heart rates. We eventually sync all of that energy between us, and then you feel really good, right? So all of that just gets open when you take a yoga class.
Yeah.
But it's
it's getting there, I guess. You and me know that we have been getting a lot of folks to the door because they have been either recommended by their physiotherapist because they can only do for so long physiotherapy, and then sometimes from doctors because they have been doing everything, still they are not able to sleep, their digestion is not good and things like that, and then they get recommended yoga, and or they're injured from their gym workout or lifting weights. What you have to say, what you have observed, and what recommendation do you have for folks like that?
I have a really long answer for this.
Go on.
Let me go on. So there's a lot of reasons why people get injured in the gym, and the main thing is misalignment and doing something incorrectly for so long essentially trains your muscles to get used to that movement incorrectly.
So true.
Right? And I think one of the reasons is when we look at the data that is done to properly show an exercise, about 80% of any research is always male, right? And the anatomy is very vastly different between male and female and between each other, right? And I say this often in my classes is sometimes you just need a block because your anatomy might be different, right? And that's okay. And so often you see people who get injured, they want to take the strength training classes, they want to take the sculpt, they want to take the power because it's hard to turn off the mind, right? But if you're already doing a posture wrong and then you continue to do it wrong and wrong and wrong, your body will eventually get used to this wrong behavior and then compensate in other ways, right? So you will see that, right? You'll see a knee is hurting, but what's really happening is the hip is what's overcompensating on the other side. So something like that, right? So that's why it's really good to just slow down, maybe take either a slow flow, which is more in alignment with, let me just do one posture, get it correctly done in my anatomy, feel it where I'm supposed to feel it,
Right.
and then continuously do that. Or restore, right? We have some good yin options where you're in a position that allows the energy, the body to just fully be in that pose.
And also understand in certain pose where I feel good versus where I feel stress.
Right, exactly. And we do that in teacher training too. We go through every single pose and we talk about where is the major muscle group that you are feeling this, where is the strength, where is it coming from. And I used to say this a lot in my classes, you can make every class sweat as much as a 5K, right? If you are fully tapping into every single muscle. If you hold Warrior 2 for 3 minutes straight,
oh my God,
you are fully pushing the ground away, you're fully putting your knee, opening your hips, squeeze every single, even from the crown of the head, you will feel it within 30 seconds, right? So it's about the foundations, and I think that's often what happens when you're working out alone, is you see something online, you see the research being done, this is how it's done, however the research is 80% male, and maybe that's not the right position for me to take it.
Right.
I'll give another example, sorry.
Yeah.
I told you this
No,
answer
this is
really
good,
wrong.
this is good.
But like a push-up, right? A
Okay,
chaturanga
I was
push-up.
going to ask you, and yes, please go on.
Women have a different carry angle, right? Because we have bigger hips. So when you're standing in a neutral position, your elbow is already bent as a woman. And some people will be bent a little bit more, and that's neutral. Whereas a man can fully straighten because there's no hip here. So when you're going,
no boobs either.
yeah, no upper body fat, right, exactly. So when you're going down in a push-up for a man, it's fully engaging the triceps if they're fully squeezing. However, if you have a higher carry angle, what ends up happening is you start to find a little pinch in front of your shoulder, which then means you need to widen a little bit and then go down. Because really you should be feeling that chaturanga push-up in your tricep, not in your shoulder. So if you are feeling it in your shoulder, that means you need to go wider. Sometimes they even go far as to say you need to bring your hands out just to give you that rotation in the shoulder so you're able to get into the tricep versus the front. So